Hey guys, Matt here. I'm going to talk to you about the latest X-Files episode. It's called Mulder and Scully Meet the Were-Monster. It's the third episode of this six-part X-Files revival series. Full spoilers here, so if you haven't seen it, look away, tune out, switch this off. If you have, here we go. This episode was a delight. Very funny, amazing. It is sort of a bit of a tonal whiplash considering the first two episodes were really heavy and sullen, especially the first episode, and then the second one actually led us more into the procedural aspect, the two of them investigating. This one, complete 180 almost. It's not like we haven't seen it on the X-Files before, though. They have done very funny episodes. In fact, this episode was written by Darren Morgan, who did write Clyde Bruckman's Final Repose and Jose Chung's From Outer Space. So this is sort of his bread and butter. And this was a very funny episode. And like Scully said in the episode, this is how I like my Mulder. Now, should every episode be like this? No, of course not. You can't have a series when it's just funny all the time. But I think why this episode works so well is because some of the criticisms of, and I levy these myself, but of the first episode and the second one is that the actors just seemed a little bored, seemed a little uninspired to be back into these roles. And this one, they seemed to be having so much fun. And the episode itself was really fun and very clever and filled with little meta references and even some emotional ones like the gravestone with Kim Manner's name, who was a very important producer, writer, director on The X-Files, who passed away. Mulder's phone having the X-Files theme as his ringtone. And it was just a really funny episode, and it was also... now, I know the idea going forward is that there will be more X-Files episodes. This is a successful series, and I know Chris Carter wants to do more after these six, and I'm sure Fox will want more. But it's also hard not to see this episode as like the final monster episode. It was such an episode about the old Monster of the Week episodes. It was such a comment on all of those, and it started with Mulder just doubting his old frame of mind, his old mindset about how he used to always look for the monster and everything. So he started off the skeptic here, and then, of course, pretty soon he was like, "It's a monster, I'm telling you, Scully." You know, it didn't take a lot for him to get right back on that on the wagon. So it was really a comment on all that, and it had some really funny twists too, especially Rhys Darby's character. Now I'll get into that, but this episode had some great guest stars. It had Tyler Labine at the beginning, had Kumail Nanjiani in it, but Rhys Darby was really the third here, and he was, if you haven't seen Flight of the Conchords, he played Murray. That was actually my favorite part of that series. He's very funny, and I think when Emmy time rolls around, he should be considered for one of those guest actor Emmys, because he was really funny as, basically, don't call him a reptile because that's racist, but he was a sort of this scaly were creature, as the title said, that sort of hibernates for 10,000 years and got bit by a man who he found out at the end was a serial killer who just sort of liked to mimic animal attacks with his mouth. But that turned this creature into a human. So it was sort of a reverse on the whole were creature lore. And through that, he started wanting and craving things that boring middle-aged men would want, which, jobs, worrying about finances, going to see a therapist, wanting burgers, watching porn, and all that stuff. All these things that came as horrible, like horror to him, like he couldn't believe what he was turning into. So that was sort of the twist that came right at the end. And this was a very funny episode. And it came at the perfect time. Again, this is only 6-episode event series. So this, after the first two, I think this needed it going forward. Again, not every episode can be like this, but I think it worked really well and it was very funny. So you can read my written review on the site on IGN.com, and stay tuned to IGN for all future X-Files reviews and news.